Saw just in shot. You could just see the car through Jamie Green's windscreen there. And Green with Marco Wittmann back on his tail once again.
Just had the message line as well, confirming what we thought. Torbay and Da Costa's incident under investigation as Junqueira comes across the line. Wittmann looking a bit more toey now, isn't he, on the back of Jamie Green in the orange Audi, heading down towards the ADAC curve up. Turn 1, Wittmann here breaks and turns left.
So Marco Wittmann then is currently P6, as we said right at the start. Needs P4 or better to take the championship here at the Lausitzring. On board with Jamie Green now, who is just ahead of him in P5. Ahead of Jamie Green is the car of Timo Scheider. And you can just see that Audi squirm a bit from the back end as they come out back onto a section of the original oval track. This is how Mike Rockefeller and Timo Glock. And Rocky getting past Glock there. That wasn't without a little love tap, was it?
I've seen more subtle moves.
Right.
But it worked. There it is from another angle. Robert Wickens thinks I might gain 2 places here, or they might wipe me out. But there is the change. And so Glock losing out because he falls behind the Mercedes as well. Just look at this long line of cars now, all queued up. Junqueira, then Scheider, Green, Wittmann, Rockefeller, Wickens, Glock. And Rockefeller is the mover in the pack, isn't he?
All of a sudden, Marco Wittmann now, the Rocky has been released, is under a bit of pressure from the current champion, Mike Rockefeller. Let's see him at work then inside that car of his, and he's trying to find a way past Marco Wittmann, and he does it. Dives up the inside, and he's made that move stick. Marco Wittmann's car just squirming a little bit on the back end as well.
So that's the change for 6th. Of course, that is not where Wittmann needs to be to win the championship. He's about to lose out to Robert Wickens, who comes storming up on the inside, and Wickens tries to get past the pair of them, but Rockefeller defends, but it's another spot lost for Wittmann.
So Wittmann at the moment going backwards. Now, you know, he's having to drive this very, very sensibly. He doesn't want to get involved in anything which is going to cause him big issues, because of course he goes into this with a commanding lead in the championship. Yes, it is mathematically possible for him to win this championship here at the Lausitzring by finishing P4 or better.
Replay of the start. Gary Paffett struggles away, doesn't he? The side of the grid that he is on is not the racing line, so you're always going to struggle a bit there because it's where there will be more water. Of course, there's only been a little bit of racing since we had the rain and these cars came on track, but Gary Paffett really did struggle off the line and went backwards, so that was why he'd lost a lot of ground early on. But a great start by Wehrlein to get himself early doors ahead of Junqueira. Hans-Jürgen Ab watching on, having had a win in China in Formula E yesterday. He's back in time to watch DTM. Bit jet lag, possibly.
We did wonder, didn't we?
Bruno Spengler's start. Good getaway by Spengler. Worked his way through traffic. Maxime Martin ahead. You can see Mortara going backwards. Yes. Recently married Edo Mortara, going backwards because of him being on the slick tyre. And then round the outside comes Vitaly Petrov, who just stays ahead of Spengler. That was brave stuff, actually, by the Russian. And then this was a Rockefeller move on Wittmann, wasn't it, to launch himself up the inside, heading back towards the banking. And he got the drive out of the corner. Rockefeller's view once more. Wittmann's car looking a little bit nervous in comparison to the Audi, but Rockefeller sees that gap.
Yes.
And Robert Wickens tried to go through as well, didn't he? He made the move on the inside down towards turn 1. Rockefeller defends, but Wickens still able to get past Wittmann. And there was contact against Rockefeller from Robert Wickens, who did, in the dive to the first corner, muscle away through by the look of it. And indeed, he's now up into 6th place. And Wittmann tried to come back at Rockefeller, but to no avail. This was Wickens' view. Just a little nudge, and that's enough to unsettle Rockefeller and spear him out wide. Is that going to be under investigation, I wonder, as well?
Be altogether surprised by that. I wouldn't, but well, Wehrlein now at the front has a margin of 11.2 seconds. What a cushion to have at this stage of the race. There on the left-hand side of the screen, the after-start ranking, as you can see. Vitoris
up 9 places. Farfus and De Resta up 10. So they've all been busy drivers, and of course Ekstrom has dropped 10 places thanks to his off through the gravel. Gary Paffett's dropped 12 because of his bad start. Mortara 8 because of the tyre choice. Now, how is Spengler getting on relative to Mortara? He's lapping a little bit slower at the moment because his slicks won't yet be as warm, if there's any warmth at all, in them compared to Mortara's tyres, because they've been on for longer, and they are still a long way back. They're giving away towards 8 seconds a lap.
So the 1, 2, 3 at the moment, Mercedes-Benz, and the 1 and 2, the gaps that they've been able to build over the first stages of this race, really, really impressive from Pascal Wehrlein and Christian Vitoris. Then Danny Juncadella still doing a good job, in my opinion, in stacking everyone up behind him. No one is able to mount a charge on neither Vitoris or Wehrlein because they can't get past Danny Juncadella.
He is a second ahead of Scheider, so if anything now it almost looks like he has the pace to be able to gap the opposition. Scheider is the man nearest to him, and Jamie Green has dropped back. You know, he was part of that group. It was a long line when we looked a few laps ago. Now the cars are rather more singular. There is Edo Mortara still struggling for traction. The Italian is running in 21st place, leading what you might call Class B for those on the slick tyres, and life is far from easy. I mean, that car just does not want to bite, does it? There's so little traction. The danger for him is that he might drop off the lead lap before we get to pit stops. There is Spengler behind him, coming up towards the timing line, but they both are struggling on these track conditions on the slick tyres now.
And there, as you can see, the Mercedes comes into the picture as well. We saw that as Bruno Spengler and Edo Mortara, and the point you make, as you say, they could drop down an entire lap, couldn't they?
I think they will on this lap. I mean, Wehrlein is nearly with them, so it's going to happen imminently, isn't it, as you look at the BMW battle here. Glock versus Farfus. Farfus is driving a great race, and Jamie Green is under attack as well now from Robert Wickens. Glock really having to defend against his BMW mark mate Farfus down to turn 1. Jamie Green for Audi, keeping at bay Robert Wickens. Lausitzring winner coming now up towards the return to the oval part of the circuit. You have this sequence of corners at the start of the lap on the infield, and then briefly it's back onto the oval part of the track. There is Juncadella ahead of Scheider, but Green now is under attack. In these conditions around here, the Mercedes looking very competitive.
Very much so, very much so. So Wehrlein leading by just under 11 seconds, and indeed has got past.
Green's off, he's run wide, he's done exactly what Ekstrom did at the same part of the circuit, just drifts out a little bit too wide, gets on the greasier part of the circuit, slithers off the road. He's given a place back to Wittmann, for example. That's Jamie's second off of the race. So Glock has come past him, look, Farfus has come past him, now also De Resta comes by, and Ekstrom tries to get round him on the outside, and is he going to be able to do it? Molina tries to come through as well. All that traffic has got past Jamie Green, and Ekstrom, who needs to get by, is being defended against by Jamie Green's Audi. Farfus looking for a way past Glock. He almost runs out of road. He's got De Resta right up behind him. It's a very busy race indeed, this, and the sideways Green is keeping Ekstrom behind him.
So there we can see it from onboard Robert Wickens. As you say, all he needs to do is just put one wheel onto that really greasy, slippery, and that exactly, it's almost a carbon copy of what Ekstrom did, isn't it?
As I said, same part of the circuit, so Jamie Green digs himself out, and of course it was coming out of that corner earlier on that he looped it and had it spin, so poor old Jamie in the walls a little bit, and it's more places lost, so he might be able to recover over the course of the remaining laps. We still don't know what the different strategies may do to help drivers, but just at the moment there must be a lot of head scratching going on to see what can be done about Wehrlein. 10.6 seconds is the advantage. Now Vitoris lapping quicker in the first sector. We are now getting a driving standards flag for Robert Wickens for pushing another car. That will be against Rockenfeller. Green's view, and he almost clobbers the back of Glock going off the oval there up at turn 7, because oh so close to get to the BMW. Ekstrom is still right up behind him as well, and Ekstrom is on the tail of Jamie Green, running together. Miguel Molina looks to the inside in the red Audi. De Resta has made a bit of progress, look, because he's got himself in the white Mercedes ahead of Glock in the yellow BMW. It's all happening except for the top two.
Extraordinary. So as we continue to watch this, Jamie Green now on the back of Timo Glock. Now, I was very, very surprised that Jamie Green didn't almost allow Ekstrom to go past him, but he certainly didn't. He was defending hard. So, well, the way it looks at the moment, Wehrlein, Vitoris, Juncadella, the 1, 2, 3. Timo Scheider is P4. We're on board with Jamie Green at the moment. Now, in P7 is Marco Wittmann.
He comes over the timing line. Now bear in mind that his rivals for the championship, 12th and out of the points Ekstrom, and 21st and well out of the points Mortara. So some more computations needed to be done about what happens if they don't score. But as the leaders now work their way once more through the infield here, we are on to lap number 15, and Wehrlein's advantage of 10.6 seconds is looking pretty good, because he is only being caught by 6,000ths by Vitoris on the last lap. Down the pit lane comes Nico Müller, and he comes in rather slowly, and he heads to the team. It's a retirement for him, and disappointment. So Nico Müller is out, as Jamie Green is ahead of Timo Glock. Or is he? Because Glock's got the inside line on the switchback, but Jamie Green goes round the outside. This has been his bogey corner, but this time he gets it absolutely spot on.
Well, you have to say, for the 2 offs that Green has had, still charging, isn't he?
Absolutely. He's not given up yet, nor has Ekstrom, because he's having a go to get past Glock as well. Working their way now up towards the completion of the lap. Ahead of them, Farfus has scarpered. Farfus is having a great run here.
There was a little touch there between Ekstrom and Glock. Glock got the back end out, and not only does Ekstrom go through, but also Molina as well. Now, there was a touch between Ekstrom and Glock. I'm absolutely sure of it. You could see one of the little fins fly off the Ekstrom car as they head onto the start-finish straight. Pascal Wehrlein now leading by just under 11 seconds.
And with Wittmann in 7th and both Ekstrom and Mortara out of the points, then if things stayed as they were, he would have a 70-point advantage at the end of the race, and you've got 50 up for grabs, 25 for a win at Zandvoort and Hockenheim, so he could still do it even from here. That was that little nudge you were talking about between Glock and Ekstrom. Ekstrom is doing his best to fight back from his earlier dramas. Brave stuff around the outside, and Miguel Molina goes with him, and Maxime Martin also tries to buy into that in the blue and white Samsung BMW. That was Green up the inside of Timo Glock, and it is a very, very dramatic race. As ever, you can anticipate this with wet conditions. The Audi personnel on the Pratt perch is getting a bit concerned about life. Right, now, I suspect we might have had a bit more shuffling on this lap, because Mike Rockenfeller has been busy, and over the timing line comes Pascal Wehrlein. Let's just run through the order, because Wehrlein's advantage, really now, this race is looking like his to lose. Unless he makes a mistake, he's going to be good to the end, I think, with this advantage. But it has come down a bit, 8.7 seconds against Vitoris now, so the gap has come down a little bit. We are having a replay of a small error by Pascal Wehrlein, and this is why he's dropped a little bit of time. Yes, went deep, got a wheel onto the grass, caught it. As I say, it's his race to lose, and it's little things like that that can all go against you. 3rd is Junckadea, 4th is Scheider, 5th is Wickens, 6th is Wittmann, 7th is Rockenfeller, 8th is Farfus, 9th is De Resta, 10th is Green now. And this battle is Marco Wittmann versus Mike Rockenfeller for 6th position. So Wittmann has gone back ahead of him, of course, therefore, and he is doing his best now to retake the place. So Wittmann up into 6th spot, therefore looking even more secure for the championship. And Bruno Spengler has gone a lap down now in the BMW, so too Edo Mortara, although he has just done a personal best in the sectors, but still the lap times of those on slicks nowhere near those on wets.
This a replay then from onboard Mike Rockenfeller. And that is how Wittmann came through like a steam train. And Marco Wittmann then passing Mike Rockenfeller. And there you see Wittmann into shot now, P6.
Maxime Martin, Adrien Tombay and Daniel Junckadea are all under investigation for not slowing sufficiently in a yellow flag zone. And of course, of them, Junckadea is the most significant, because he's running in 3rd place. There is Martin Tomczyk ahead of Tombay, who's another of those under investigation. And so in the blue and white BMW there, the Moscow winner Maxime Martin. Joey Hand at the back of that shot, turning his way through. We're on lap 18 out of the 52, 70 minutes, the maximum time allowed for these races. It could be heading towards that, and there is the troubled Spengler on the slick prime tyre. Of course, you've also got within the little contest between Spengler and Mortara, one on the prime and one on the option, but Spengler's race now is, to all intents and purposes, over, I fear. He's lost so much time with the drive-through and this tyre choice. It's going from bad to worse for him. Now he's losing more and more time. Martin loses a place down at turn 1 because Tomczyk goes up the inside and Tombay goes through as well as Martin slides out wide.
Yeah, so 2 places down in 1 there. Vitaly Petrov, who is running P17. Here comes Marco Wittmann then. running in P6, and that would be enough the way things are out on track at the moment, as Vitaly Petrov there just having a nibble at Maxime Martin, and now Vitaly Petrov dives to the inside, and he's going to make that position his.
Something's happened to Martin over the last lap.
Yeah.